In this episode, I sit down with Dan Jones. He's Manchester's strongest man, and he suffered a horrific knee injury to both knees last year, and his video for this went viral. So as he says, a lot of people know his knees, but a lot of people don't know him. So in this episode of the podcast, we sit down and we talk through the injury, we talk through the rehabilitation, the mental and physical aspects, and other things that you might not think about, like being a dad with this injury and how he's gone on to help other people. Right, Dan, cheers. Thanks very much for coming on the podcast. I appreciate your time doing it and going through your story. I've been looking forward to this one. I've been sharing quite a bit of your stuff to let people know, obviously, that I've got you on. So, I'm just going to get straight into it. Obviously, Manchester's strongest man, talking a little bit about that event for us and why you love the sport and what got you into that.
So, I started training specifically for Manchester's Strongest Man in January last year, specific for the event, specific for the competition. So I'd go to the gym that was doing the competition, I'd use their equipment, I'd do that. I wanted to prepare as best as possible for this, for the comp. Yeah. A friend of mine, Joe, was competing the year before, and I'd just seen his videos online, and you just watch him going, I could do some of this, and just fancied it, and I thought, I'll have a go at this. Yeah. One session, and it was, that was me, that. One log press, and I thought, I can do this, I'm enjoying this. So just waited for the competition to be announced, and that was it. And just trained specifically for it. And
yeah, what had you done previous to that? Was it just standard training at that point? What was your training like before that?
So I just got fat in COVID. I was like 21.5 stone. Yeah, just big lad, and was depressed as anything. Just one of them things where I needed to do something to sort me out. Yeah. Week after England lost the Euro final, I was in the gym for the first time. Yeah. And I went from 21.5 stone down to about 18.5 stone in the space of 2 years. Nice. Just training, trying to feel better, trying to feel myself
just to get yourself back to things.
And then I was just getting stronger. Things were lifting. I was like, I need to do something with it. And then it was just one of them things where right place, right time, this video comes up. Yeah. And I thought, I can do a bit of this. And then just fell in love with it. One log press and it's game over.
Once you entered that competition, then you trained for that. How did you feel like on the day going into that competition?
I've not felt nerves like it. Yeah. I've never lifted in front of a crowd, and I don't think you could, unless you do it, I don't think you could take appreciation of how weird that feeling is, because you're so excited, you know you can do it, but everyone's watching you do it. Yeah. So it was like the first event was a keg load into a duck walk into a stairs. It was like a fitness event. Yeah. And I picked the first keg up with one hand, and the crowd like gasped. It was like, oh, like it was one of them. I was getting a video. You probably post it, like. Yeah. And that was when I got the buzz. I was like, there's something special here. Like the feel of the crowd getting involved, you doing something they're not expecting it. I went I think it was 11th on the day. So you had the first 10 people go, all of them 2 hands up and down, and this first one just yonked up, and it was, that buzz was just mental.
So it just felt like right straight away, like you knew you was into something that you could do.
Yeah, because you're so nervous going into it, but then that kind of first crowd reaction, then you kind of go, there's just something special there. Yeah. That interaction between you and the crowd, as well as you doing something that you know you're good at and you know you love. It was just, a lot of the day it was just like, if I do the best that I can do, I've got a good chance of winning this.
Is it a day event or is it over a couple of days?
10 till 4 it was.
Yeah, how many different sections is there?
So there was 5 events. Mm-hmm. I think it was 5. Yeah, 5 events on the day. Mm-hmm. Bit of a wait between some of the event days because it was there was 4 categories on it the same day. 4 men category, 3 women's category. So it's one of them. There's a lot of moving parts. Yeah. But it was good for me because I could watch different categories. Well, you could see different techniques. You could see other people doing, because you do the first event and then they'd be doing another event. So then no one was doing the same event. So you could kind of have a little look and see how other people are doing as well.
Oh, I get you. Yeah. So there was still a bit of learning to it because obviously it was like your first big event and stuff as well. So how did it feel when it's like, was there a moment that you knew you was going to win it?
So Atlas stones at the end, it was stones over a yoke as many times as you can. The guy in second place had got 14, I think it was. Yeah. And in my head, I was trying to just work out if I can get 10, 11. I was like, I'll just get as many as I can. Yeah. and you do the best you can.
Yeah.
I matched him on the event. I did 14, so it was when that 14th one went over. I thought I've got it here. It's never over until you really know. Yeah.
How did that feel when you won it?
That was mint. I had all the family there.
Nice.
Wife, granddad,
nice.
dad, brother. Everyone was there. All the family come over. So the nerves wasn't just randomers watching the event. It was all your closest people to you.
Yeah.
And it gives you a bit of confidence knowing they're there, but then the pressure's higher when it's people you care about that are actually watching you do these things.
Yeah, definitely.
You're trying to prove to them that you are good enough to do it.
Definitely. You come away from that, then obviously you won that. What was the next step for you? What was the next thought in your mind of what you wanted to do next?
Well, Southport, the competition was already booked in. So Manchester's was in July, Southport's was 1st of September. So it was like 6 weeks in between.
Yeah.
So it was get fully prepared for this competition. Let's go do the next competition 6 weeks later. Mm-hmm. So it was just head down with the coach, get the numbers right. Mm-hmm. Deadlifts was something I struggled with, so a bit of extra focus on deadlifts, a bit of extra stuff specifically for this competition because it was like a truck pull and everything. It was a load of events that I'd not done before.
Some new stuff.
So it was one I didn't have a lot of time to train specifically for these events, but it was just the next step for me was let's try and win the next competition.
Did you feel confident going into that one then? So was it the same feeling as what you had going into Manchester, or because you just won that, was it a different feeling?
Again, it was different. First event was deadlift. It was a car deadlift for this one. And at Manchester's, it was the 4th event deadlift, so I had a few things that I was good at beforehand.
Yeah.
So I was a bit nervous. With it being a car deadlift, I've not really picked a car up before.
Yeah.
I've done standard deadlifts and different variations, but I've not done the techniques. It was a slightly different technique. It's more of like a leg press than it is a deadlift.
Okay.
You're pushing through the legs rather than kind of up.
Get you.
And it was first event, so I was a bit worried. A few people didn't get any reps. A couple of people only got 2 or 3 reps, and I was like, well, something's not right. These are all good at this event. What's going on?
Yeah.
And then I did 12 reps. Okay. And I was like, what is... You know what I mean? I kind of shocked myself a little bit. The winner got 18, so I got second place by, and he got quite a lot. So
yeah,
that put a lot of confidence in me, knowing that the next event was an overhead press, which my shoulders are like a strong point.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, we'll go into this.
Yeah.
Go into that one, won that event. So that's like buzzing for that.
Yeah.
What was the third event was the truck pull.
Yeah.
Never pulled a truck in my life. I don't think you can even prepare for pulling a truck. It was like a 12, 13 ton lorry thing. It was mental. And that's the first event out of, I think I've done 11 events so far.
Yeah. Over
2 competitions. That's the first event I finished outside the top 3.
Right, okay.
So it was one of them where I was like, there's some learning to do here.
That was an area to...
And then obviously then the next event was it was a yoke, so it was, you carry it on your shoulders, you run your distance, you get there.
Yeah.
I think I finished second in that one as well, so I was like, a bit of confidence in this.
Yeah.
If I can win this last event, I got a chance of winning this all overall. So again, I'm going into this next competition, going into the last event in the position where I could win again. So I was like, so you kind of get that buzz, you're like...
Yeah.
I'm getting good at this. I've done 10 events, and I've finished top 3 for 9 of them. I'm doing. There's something good here.
Yeah.
And then obviously, what happened, and then.
So let's go through that then. So your injury is next. So talk us through, if you can, what happened in that situation.
So the event is a Rolling Thunder. It should have been a grip event. So it should have been a heavyweight-ish. Rolling Thunder handles, who could go the furthest. The event was who could get there the fastest, and I think it's a little bit of it's something that has been learnt on, and people know not to do kind of this sort of stuff again.
Yeah,
because the injury was potentially preventable if the event was heavier.
Okay.
If the event was heavier, you couldn't run with the weights. And it was the running with the weights that has snapped the right knee, and then me hitting the ground so hard, like a Drogba knee slide with all the edits.
Yeah.
The left knee then snaps on impact with the ground. So it's really hard to understand what's gone on, because even now looking back, watching the video back, zooming in, really looking what's going to have I slipped, has the weights hit me in the back of the leg. Is there a reason why I've gone down? And there's nothing at all. Just the right knee just buckles. And because obviously the way your tendon works, it connects the kneecap to the shin, so it's snapped and it's just made your leg just buckle inside you. So then the left knee's done the same thing, but it's hit the ground and snapped as it's hit the ground.
Yeah.
So that it's such a freak accident.
Yeah.
And I just remember lying there for about 10 seconds on the ground, not thinking anything of it. People jump over, people come and see if I'm all right, everything's going on. And then my brother sat me up, and I looked down, and my kneecaps are in my quads. So there's one kneecap in this Manchester B, and there's one further up. Physio comes running over, didn't see everything he can do. Tried to push it back in, tried to put it back in, potentially. If it's a dislocated kneecap, it needs to go back in, it's fair enough. Mm-hmm. In hindsight, it was well out. It was out by about this far.
Yeah.
So, in hindsight, it's not helped the situation trying to put it back in, because if she's put it back in and it's just like pinged back up.
Yeah. So is that what happened? Did it just kind of go back up into that place?
So it was up about this far. She's pushed it down and it was out about this far.
Right.
Again, I'll show you the pictures so you can see like where it should have been and what was going on, and that was after they'd put it back in. Rushed to the hospital. Well, rang the ambulance. It'll be about an hour. Yeah. Because it wasn't life-threatening.
Yeah.
So instead of that, I got the big lads put me in the back of in the car. Mother-in-law drove me to our local hospital, which is only an hour away. So rather than just kind of pre-thinking if anything bad has happened, the wife, baby, isn't having to travel all the way to Southport if I need to be seen with anything.
Yeah.
Right decision in the long run. 30 minutes into that car journey, I was in excruciating pain because the adrenaline had worn off.
Makes sense. So going back to when, you was lying on the floor, did you feel any pain at that point, or was that you just felt like you'd fell over, or what did you think had happened?
Not initially. I think the first thing I said was, where does that leave me in the standings? You know what I mean? Like, finished 4th out of 16 with no points on the last event, but still, I mean, it's...
Yeah.
It's no points on the last event, fair enough. But I didn't think it was that bad. You make a bit of a joke and go, yeah, happy days. But it turned out to be a lot worse than what it was.
Yeah.
But no pain initially. Pain when she tried to push it back in. And then after the adrenaline worn off, it was like a hot pins and needles.
Okay.
Like, because your kneecaps were not where they should be.
Yeah.
So all of the... everything underneath it's trying to like, what's going on, you've got a kneecap up here.
Yeah.
It was from about here downwards, just hot and spicy, like.
All your legs. Yeah.
Had
you looked at it at that point? Like, had you looked at...
Yeah, I had to focus on it, so otherwise...
Yeah.
I'd feel sick. So it was one of them where I had to just keep looking at it to see, like, how bad is this? And on the picture, like, it's... The kneecap's out.
Yeah.
And then there's, like, a crevice where the knee should have been.
Yeah.
And then there's, like, a little cut where the bottom of the kneecap should have been, and it's just where it's hit the ground.
Yeah.
So you can see where the kneecap should be, and it's just like a little crater. And it's one of them where you had to focus on it, because if I didn't, I'd feel sick because you can feel the knee like swelling up. It was just...
What was it like in the crowd? Did everyone else around you realise like how bad it was, or did they not realise themselves how bad it was?
I don't think anyone knew how bad it was, because even I didn't know how bad it was until I was X-rayed and MRI'd. I just thought maybe I've just dislocated a couple of knees, but it was obviously a lot worse than that.
So what happened? So once you got to the hospital then and you got all your X-rays and everything done, what was the next conversations that was getting had?
Well, initially, so straight in, 40 minutes in A&E, and they give me painkillers. So I didn't have my first painkillers till about 2 hours after I'd done it.
Right.
And then I was sat in A&E I got in there at 7:15.
Yeah.
Or 7:45. I sat in A&E till 9:15 the next night. So just on a trolley in A&E in pain.
Yeah.
And they're not beds. They're just on this plastic bed where your back's in bits. You can't move. You can't do anything, and you just get in this bit of painkillers every few hours. And about 3:00 in the morning in A&E, the doctor came over to try and put the other knee back in. They thought, we've heard your left knee's just not gone in, and we need to try the right just to see if it's dislocated or not. And obviously that did the exact same thing, straight down, straight back out, and it was just...
How come no one got you into like knowing how serious it was? Did they not know themselves at that point how serious it was either?
No.
I
don't think they knew how serious it was until the first X-rays and MRIs.
Yeah.
Because even the surgeon when I spoke to the surgeon before the surgery, he even said I've not done 2 at the same time ever. So it's a rare.
I was going to say, you did say, didn't you, to me that how many cases like of this have been reported before you?
I think I was the 53rd recorded case.
Right.
I don't know exactly that is, but that's roughly what they were saying. The last 2 times it happened was in America. The last time it happened in England was about 7 or 8 years ago with a bodybuilder. And
Okay.
I presume my physio's doctors, everyone was looking at the last couple of cases in America.
Yeah.
Because they told me that I'd be in full leg cast for the first 6 weeks, into braces from 8 weeks. It's going to go. Yeah, so I was in leg cast for the first. They said I might be in leg cast for the first 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And then braces for 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Because that's what had happened in America.
Yeah.
I'd got lucky that my physio knew what he was doing on the day and decided against that. But we'll talk about that in a sec.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you want to ask about the wait between surgery?
So you got the X-ray and everything done. What was like, so after getting that X-ray done, I assume then people realised that it's much more serious than what they thought. What was that next step from there?
So I was on the ward with all the old guys, all the guys that have broke the hips, broke the knees. It was like the intensive, not the serious support ward. It was one where they needed constant care. So they put me up there with them guys because obviously my legs couldn't move at all.
Yeah.
I looked myself online they told me that it was a bilateral patella tendon tear. I'm looking online for what this is and nothing at all. There was 2 Reddit posts about how bad it was. But there was no recovery, there was no nothing. It was just, this is serious, this is one thing. It was just nothing at all.
Yeah.
So obviously I'm then worried. The doctor then tells me you're going to be potentially in cast for 6 weeks and then 8 weeks in a brace. So I'm preparing for that.
Yeah.
They told me I'd need to learn to walk again.
Right.
So again, preparing for all this. This is all before I'd even gone down for the surgery.
Yeah.
So this was on the Sunday the 1st was when I went in. I was in the ward from Monday.
Yeah.
And I didn't get surgery until the Friday, the 6th. I think it's literally 6 months tomorrow or something since surgery. So I fully expected to wake up from surgery, full leg casts.
Yeah.
Preparing for the worst, what was going on.
Yeah.
So then waking up from surgery and only being braces, I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, well, what's going on?
Yeah.
The hard bit for me was I came out of surgery. Well, the surgeon said to me, it should be about 3 hours. I've not done the same surgery on both knees before, but it should be fine. Like I'm doing the exact same on the left as I'm doing on the right. No problem. He said it'd be about 3 hours. I was in there for 5.5 hours.
Right.
So I've come back around at about 5:30 at night on the Friday. No one had thought about the pain I was going to be after surgery. Right,
okay.
So the pain team only works Monday to Friday, 9 till 5 at Leighton Hospital. So I've come out of surgery. No one's thought about what pain's he going to be in, what painkillers is he going to need, what's he going to need after that.
Right.
I've come around, they've gone, we've got paracetamol and codeine for you. And I'm like, what? And we can give you this Oromorph. So I was like, well, so what should have happened since then? They should have given me a painkiller, which ended up being tramadol in the end.
Yeah.
And a pain suppressant, which is what the Oromorph should have been. For if it was bad, you can have this as an extra thing to kind of help you sleep, help you recover, all that.
Yeah.
I had Oromorph every 2 hours for the whole weekend because the pain team doesn't work the weekend.
So you have to just get through on that.
I slept for about half an hour, woke up in pain again, couldn't have any painkillers for an hour and a half. So I was in pain literally Saturday, Sunday, well, all the Friday night, Saturday, Sunday. Mm-hmm. Pain team came around Monday morning at like 9:30 straight away and obviously apologised and was like, if we'd have known, we'd have been supportive of it. But it was just one of the things, it just got missed for some reason. It was just and then they ended up on, I was on a lot of painkillers. Like,
yeah, at points.
They put me on tramadol. They put me on, let me get these notes.
Yeah. Let's see them.
I had to write it all down because the amount of stuff they were putting me on, I didn't want to be on it. Because I've when I was younger, 18, 19, turned to every drug in the world when my stepdad died.
Yeah.
So I'm fully aware of what addiction can do and what it can do. So I was like, I don't want to be on any of these longer than I need to be on them.
Yeah, definitely.
So I wrote it all down, the doses, how much I did it. Let me just get back to this. Oh, hang on. Sorry, mate.
No, it's okay, don't worry.
Yeah, so they put me on tramadol 4 times a day. And then I had oxycodone, which it's the synthetic version of Oromorph, which is stronger. It's like more concentrated. But because I'd had 25 doses of Oromorph over the weekend, they said, you're just going to end up addicted to it because it's highly addictive. So it was like, we need to take you off that as soon as possible and put you on another one.
Yeah.
So that was fine. Naproxen twice a day. Pregabalin, which is a nerve killer.
Yeah.
Which is what was helping, like, the pins and needlesy pain in the knees. Paracetamols, blood thinners, and then, so it was one of them things that I had all these things on, and I was like, I don't want to be on any of this longer than I need to be.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Especially the pregabalin. The pregabalin is she said it's one of the most highly addictive painkillers in the world because it's a nerve suppressant rather than a. So the last thing I needed to be on that is that longer than I needed to be on it.
Yeah, you don't want to be addicted to that.
You've got to slowly go onto it,
and
then slowly come off it. And I was only on it for 2 weeks, and it was like they had to wean you off it. That's how bad it was, and it was one of them where if I didn't write it down, I didn't do all that. I just had to get it. One of them where everything was new to me. So I wrote everything down. I wrote first steps, first day, first everything, because I was like, I have to.
So the next part of that then actually is your recovery then, isn't it? And it's actually you documenting it and you writing all these things down and actually posting it. And I think the next part actually is with your video and what you're posting. It blew up and went viral. So firstly, how did you get on with that recovery and how did you cope with all of a sudden becoming like quite viral with the whole situation?
For me, like I said before, it was I looked online and there was nothing. It was just about how bad the injury was. So I was just like, well, I'll just start posting the recovery. I had like 400 followers. I was like, I'll just post it every day. First day standing up, first day doing the first steps, leg raises for the first time, just little things, not thinking anything of it. But I was like, if my video can help one person, it's more than what I had initially. So I was like, for me, it was just, one, I've got nothing to do. I'm lying in a hospital bed for 23 and a half hours a day. I'm doing physio for 30 minutes. So if I can just film a little bit of the physio, I can then post that little caption, this is where I'm at day 2. And for me, it was a bit of a diary of where I've come. I can look back on and let's see what I'm doing. And 2, it just gave me something to do. And if I had a couple of comments, I had a couple of likes, it just meant I've got someone to reply to, something to do. And it just kept me busy in the hospital. But at no point did I think day 30, day 2 or 3, it got like 500,000 views, 600,000 views. And then day 13, in between day 2 and day 13, a newspaper reached out to me and said, we've seen your video, we'd like to do a bit of a story on you. So I had a bit of a chat to him, again, nothing else to do. I'll just chat to these. BBC picked it up, Daily Mail picked it up, The Sun, and anyone you think could pick a story up, it was all over everywhere. All you got to do is type in Dan Jones Strongman and the video, in fact the headlines are worse than the actual injury. Yeah. And at day 13, Lad Bible, it was when Lad Bible shared it. Yeah. And the link to day 13 is in their post. Yeah. And that video's got like 5.5 million views or something. So it was then, that video is the one that just went mental, brought people to the page, people saw days 1 to 13 and gone, oh, what's going on here? Like, and just started following the journey, started commenting. Yeah. And for me, I think there's a couple of videos with like 2.5, 3, 4,000 comments. And for the first couple of videos, I just replied to all of them. Every single one of them, even like the hate ones. Just like joining in, laughing like.
Did you get hate? Oh, was the like joke ones and stuff on there, or what was like the hate stuff?
Drogba edits were the best ones, like Adebayor versus Arsenal. You know, that sort of stuff. Anyone that did a knee slide celebration, I'll repost them now. Like people will tag me in them, they'll see the video and go, "Oh, I've reposted. I've done Adebayor." It's just me sliding across the screen. Yeah, I got a bit of a laugh with it now. At the time, it was just.
Oh, I can imagine.
Well, I saw the comments on my videos really, because I was getting so many. I was like, well, why would I go and look at BBC, Lad Bible, all these? Why would I? But I had friends that reached out to me saying, "Oh, these people are disgusting. I can't believe they're talking," and I had no idea. And it was people comments on the Lad Bible stuff.
Yeah.
And I just not even thought about it.
Yeah.
So I thought, I'll have a look, went on it, and it was just people just being like, just horrible, like, this is what you get for being a big fat bastard. This is you're not fit at all. Why are you trying to run? Just all this stuff like that. People have no idea. This is what happens when fat people try and do sports and that. And you just kind of like, So I just go, I'd like them, class, whatever. It never bothered me because I am a big lad doing a sport, I'm fully aware of it. But I think it just pissed some of my friends off. Yeah. Or other strongmen that had, like they're reaching out to me going, "You all right? What's going on?"
Yeah.
And then they're seeing these people just slagging off strongmen in the comments, like, "This is what you get all the time."
Yeah.
And that's I just didn't think anything of it.
No.
I think the day I realised it had gone viral was when Eddie Hall messaged me.
Oh, nice. What did he say?
Well, he followed me on Instagram and then sent me a message just, "Seen your video, wishing you a speedy recovery. Hopefully you can get back to the sport one day," or something.
Nice.
Eddie Hall's probably one of the most famous strongmen probably in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'd be like if you're doing a football injury and Ronaldo messaging you.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? That's when I realised I was like, this has gone mental.
What did that moment feel then? Was it like overwhelming for you?
I was fangirling.
What was it?
Fangirling, rang the missus going,
yeah.
Eddie Hall's messaged me, like, what's going on? Like, one of my mates messaged me going, "Is Eddie Hall following you?" You know, if you go on their Instagram, and it says followed by or follow in.
Yeah.
It just went mental. It was just like, how are these people who are like the top of the sport that I want to be doing? No way because if I'd have just won that competition, there's no way you'd know I was. No,
it was just that thing that happened.
Such a freak injury that could have been prevented and wasn't, and it was there. That's when I knew that my story was getting out there.
Yeah.
And then obviously it all follows on from there. I've probably spoken, well, in fact, I was in the hospital for 6.5 weeks.
Yeah.
First of all, physios come to see me, openly admit, never dealt with anyone with the same injury on both legs that can't move them at all. So obviously bear with us while we learn to help as much as we can. Because I think the first couple of days it was like, well, let's see if we can stand you up, let's see if we're doing that. And obviously people with one leg, have got the other leg to stand up on, they've got the other leg to support. So they had to like scrap everything and go, well, what can we do for someone that's not got any movement at all in the legs? So first couple of days was difficult for kind of all of us, just learning the ropes and learning what we can and can't do. But we made a plan. We got a plan to how to get out of bed, how to start moving, and it helped a lot. And I think I got lucky looking back that they kept me in for so long.
Yeah. Because
they gave me physio every day. They gave me the support I needed, the painkillers I needed to get through some of the harder physio. That then meant when I was going home after 6 weeks, I was in a much better position in myself, knowing that I could move a little bit, I can do a little bit myself, not having to go home to the wife, who had already been an absolute angel.
Yeah.
So I've got a little girl who turned 1 in October, and I was in the hospital from September up until the week before her birthday. I thought I was going to miss her first birthday, so I missed nursery, first time she stood up. I missed all these things sat in the hospital. So that for me, it's like, it puts things in perspective of like how important kind of the house is, how the home is, the family definitely is, how important all that is. Is that more important than what I was doing? And of course it was. But when you're in that zone of like, I'm getting good at this, I'm getting good, I'm trying to progress into it, you kind of get in that mindset of, I'm getting good at this, so I need to do it. I'm going to do everything I can for you guys while I can, but on these days where I'm doing this is me.
That's the thing that you're doing,
So it puts a lot of perspective into life and what's going on. I mean, I just can't. I don't understand how my wife did it. Like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
She, bringing up not even a 1-year-old, getting her to nursery for the first time, she was starting work again after maternity, and then coming to the hospital every day to come and see me. It's
a busy time for her.
I just don't know how she got through it without having a breakdown, mate, honestly.
Oh, no, yeah. What was it like? I think speaking about that as well, you know, we can get on to like your plans next, and I know that kind of perspective in life and things can change when something happens like this. what was it like then getting back to the house, and looking after your daughter in that kind of in that situation and things like how did you manage that?
Well, for me, the biggest thing for me during all that recovery was, am I going to be able to run around after my little girl again? Can I still be a dad to the way that I was beforehand? Yeah. And that was the biggest thing for me, was I'd forgotten about training, forgotten about strongman, the gym and everything. Can I be a dad again? And that was the biggest worry. Like I had multiple breakdowns about, will I still be able to do the things I love again? Can I do that?
Yeah.
But then also, am I also going to be able to be a dad at the same time? Even now, I'm still looking at it. It's only been 6 months since the injury, and I'm doing a hell of a lot better than a lot of the guys I've spoken to since then. Mm-hmm. But even now, I'm just like, what happens if it goes in? You know what I mean? You worry.
Yeah, there's a bit of worry there still.
Especially when it's so fresh still.
Yeah, because it's not that long ago, and like I've seen some of the videos that you're doing now, and we can get onto that piece. But your recovery seems quick. And what's been the mentality? Was there a mentality shift at any point from the beginning for you to go, I'm just gonna like attack it and get on top of this quickly, or like was there a shift in that mentality right from the off for you?
The first thing was waking up not being cast.
Yeah.
As soon as I woke up in braces, and the surgeon come to speak to me and said, we've bent your knee on the table, we got you to 90 degrees, you're not, we think you'll be able to weight bear. Mm-hmm. As soon as I wasn't in cast, because I'd spoken, the last 2 times it happened was in America, mm-hmm. and I've spoken to both the guys. One guy's 2.5 years in, still in a wheelchair.
Right, okay.
Because he was in the leg casts. His legs, obviously, there was a lot of muscle atrophy, so his legs disintegrated pretty much.
Yeah.
And because obviously it's a tendon injury and it's the muscle, it's the bone to bone and the knee to shin, because he got so weak in his legs, the first time he stood up, he fell over and did his MCL, PCL.
Right, okay.
So his ligaments have snapped. So I think he's had 4 or 5 operations since, and he's still in a wheelchair. And the other guy has had 6 operations over the both knees. So for me, waking up not in a cast, mm-hmm. I'm already ahead.
Yeah.
So I need to stay ahead.
And it spiraled from there.
So it was one of them where, and I think me posting helped a lot of it, because 99% of the comments were positive for people going, oh, this is amazing, this is inspiration, I hope, I've been following your journey, I hope you're doing all right.
Yeah.
Seeing all that, it gave me a reason to get up and go. As much as I wanted to be the dad, be the husband, be everything I can, I had these random friends online that I'd never met before, never will meet, that were willing me along.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's such a weird feeling getting the positivity from people you don't know.
Yeah.
And that really helped with making me feel like I can do it, and the things I am doing, I am progressing. And then obviously speaking to the 2 lads in America that had done it, that had so impressed that was even stood up. Mm-hmm. I was back walking, I was doing all this, and they couldn't have boots on the ground for 8 weeks, or 6 weeks until the cast was up. So them being in shock that I was able to do this really spurred me on to keep doing it.
Definitely. When you think about as well now, like the fact that you do help people, we speak about the fact that you speak to people still about this, those people, like, why is it important for you to share the message, share your journey? Why is it still important for you to try and help people with it? So
for me, there's a man that did it 6 weeks after me, that he got told that he couldn't weight bear until Christmas Eve, so that would have been 8 or 9 weeks recovery. Mm-hmm. And his daughter found my videos online, passed it on to him, and he reached out to me and he was like, I don't understand, why are you able to walk, how are you able to do all these things, and I've been told I can't weight bear till Christmas Eve. Mm-hmm. So I said to him, I was like, I can't tell you what, obviously the physios are telling you whatever you can do. All I can say is take my videos to your next surgeon appointment, your next physio, and just say, this guy's on the exact same injury as me, this is what he's doing, this is week 1, this is week 2, this is week 3, this is literally where he's at. They had him stood up the same day. Wow. They showed him the videos, and the reason he didn't is because they were being precautious. They'd not seen the injury before, and because the last time it happened in England was like 6-7 years ago. Yeah. And my case study isn't even released yet. Like, my surgeon's doing a case study on me now. So it was so new that they were doing the exact same as what my surgeon was doing. They didn't know it. It was just, let's see what happens. So with that story, he reached out to me on Christmas Eve, and he thanked me. He was like, "I really can't thank you any more than this." He walked out of his house, got into the car, and went to his in-laws for Christmas.
Nice.
So he's just like, that was the moment I was like, what I'm doing is really helping people.
Yeah, that's like a validation for you, isn't it? Of like what you're doing is actually helping.
I'd never done it for that reason.
Yeah.
But when he said thank you, I was just more like, no, you need to thank yourself. Like, it was one of them where I wasn't taking any of the praise. I was like, you've done this yourself. You've found my videos. You've done 4 weeks of physio to get you in a position to do it.
Yeah.
You should be proud of yourself. But he was still like, no, thank you. Just for having something there that he could refer back to then help him. It was just never meant. It was meant to be there. If I can help one person, I'm helping more people than I had at the time.
Yeah, definitely.
But this is like really like saved his Christmas. I could probably read the message. It said like, you've really helped me and the family. Like, he was in such a bad way, thinking, I can't go see anyone. I need a family for Christmas. Can't do anything. I'm just going to be sat at home on my own because I can't even stand up till Christmas Eve. The physio's even going to come out at Christmas. All that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I think it was the end of November was when he found my video. So we had like 4 weeks of recovery to get into a position where he was able to walk himself out of the house.
Yeah, so that's the kind of message, isn't it? That tells you that you're on the right path and you're doing the right, what you're doing and what you're putting out is helping people. When you think about family now, so when you think about your next steps in the journey, kind of, we spoke about the fact that, you've got your family and stuff as well, and both sides are obviously important. You want to still be feeling like you want to do the sport that you love, but you've got that kind of thing, your daughter and the family and everything. Like, what's your next, as a whole, what's your next plans? How do you see your next kind of steps being?
So next step is, I'm getting back into the strongman gyms and just catching up with the guys, being there, training, helping with tips, helping with training plans, just little things that I can help that keeps me in the strongman world without actually competing and doing that. Like being asked to ref Manchester's Strongest Man this year is like really important to me, because it means the competition that I won last year, I'm still involved with it. The athletes are going to be there. They're going to still going to see me in and around the sport. Going to have so many questions for me.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that know my knees but don't know it's me.
Yeah.
I'm like a reverse Elvis, you know what I mean? It's like the knees are famous, but they have no idea who I am.
Yeah.
But it's kind of getting that message out, going, this is horrific, but look at him at 9 months on now, be in a position, to be in this position to be able to support it, being in and around the crowds, do all this. And I'd love to compete again.
I was going to say, just still have like love for, even though you had such a horrific event happen, like, just still have love for the sport. Is it still something you want to do? Yeah,
and I think that love comes with, like I said, like Eddie messaging, Lauren Charley doing the YouTube video on me. I've got Tom Owens, who's like England's 105, England's strongest man under 105s. Paul Smith was my coach. Who's like UK strongest man. You've got all these people who are like top of their game, reaching out to me, making sure everything's all right. Are you okay? Do you need anything? And you don't get that in any other sport. People don't realise how nice strongmen are. They see these big 6'5", 6'6", massive people, and just expect them to be horrible or monsters, or like just. But they are some of the softest people you'll ever meet, and all they want is for you to do better.
Yeah,
I've not met a strongman that I've competed against that wishes downfall. They go, you get 10, that means I've got to get 11. You know what I mean? That's not, I wish you get 4, so I only have to get 5. Yeah. The mentality is, you do the best you can, and makes me do the best I can. Yeah, and it is honestly, it's the best sport I've been involved with, and I think I'll ever be involved with. And I think that's the reason why I can't just get rid of it, because of how nice the community is. And I think if I wasn't doing as well as I was, I think I'd also be in 2 minds of going back.
Yeah.
But what it's done is, I now know the difference between pain and it hurting. Because obviously you're in the gym, you're in the training, you know when something hurts. It's not necessarily a bad thing. You're doing the right thing if something's... But if you're in pain, then you know when to stop. So for me, potentially doing like a static competition ends this year, so like a deadlift and a log press, which means I've still got an event in me, still got a bit of a competition, getting that buzz for competing again, but I'm not doing all the moving event, not doing all that, because I'm also aware that it could be well too soon. But even the end of this year could be well too soon. But I'm not... It's in the mind as something to aim for, to keep me kind of going for it, keep me training hard, enjoying it.
Yeah.
But then also I'm fully aware that these knees it's not they can go again at any time. You don't know until you push it because of the type of injury.
Yeah.
And it's just pushing it at the right time.
I think obviously the stories, like you've gone through all that, and then you've come out the other side, and you're trying to help other people with it as well, and you're just in a space where you can help other people with it. So I think you're still doing a case study on you and stuff, so I know that'll obviously help people hopefully listening to this podcast as well that want to get into the sport and just like learn a little bit more about you, because like I said, like you say, people have seen the video, but they haven't necessarily seen you. They've seen maybe what you've kind of put out on videos, but just speaking about it is good. And yeah, I think it'll inspire people. But for me, I think like knowing something that you go through like that as a dad as well, and something I relate to now, like I'm just made up that fact that, you know what I mean, you get to actually do things with your daughter and stuff. And I think if you can do anything in strongman and just be in that sport still, it'll be a big bonus for you to be able to do that stuff, because that's what you love to do. But being able to be a dad and stuff as well, and still have the ability to do things with your daughter is like probably the biggest thing as well for you.
It's making her proud as well. Yeah. It's making her proud of the person that you know you could be.
Yeah.
And I think you've got very similar things. You've got your charity work you're doing this year, you're swimming Windermere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With all the stuff that's going on with you, that's not stopping you doing things that you can look back on and be proud of, with your girls. Like these are all things that you've got, and you're not just letting your
arthritis.
Yeah, I was going to say disease, but I didn't know if that was the right thing.
That's so good.
You're not letting your arthritis stop you being you. And I think it's quite easy with a big injury and stuff like that, where you kind of become a new version of you, sheltered from or being scared of doing the things that potentially you would have done beforehand.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I don't want to do it just in case. When in fact the body is absolutely incredible with how things can recover.
Yeah.
And what you're doing and what you're proving and what you're sharing is massive proof that the body is capable of more than the mind is.
Yeah, definitely.
So for me, it's making her proud, making the wife proud, making the family proud, making myself proud.
Yeah.
But then it's also pushing myself to feel, because the last person that you're going to make proud is yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you know, before the injury, before your arthritis, Windermere would have been a piece of piss.
Yeah, exactly.
All you're cycling dead easy because you're not had a flare up. Nothing's going to mean, you know you can do it.
Yeah.
The same way as me in the gym. I was really stressed out at the beginning about hitting the weights I hit previously, because I was like, I've lost all this weight, I've lost all this strength, it's took me so long to get there. And I got out of that mindset of what could I used to do? What is it I used to do? And everything was a post-injury PB. Mm-hmm. So for me, I was celebrating getting the 150 incline, getting the 170 incline, celebrating doing bodyweight squats, them little wins that meant it was positive what I was doing, rather than going, I used to be able to squat 200 kilos, I used to be able to bench 190. Rather than looking back, I'm looking forward and going, well, what can the body do now? Not what could the body do. I think that's, for me, is I have to look at life this way, otherwise you're going to end up in a hole beforehand, looking back. And I think for you as well, there's a lot of looking back because you know these are all things you can do. But I think with you looking forward, with the mindset of looking back, you're going to absolutely smash Windermere. You're going to smash all of the charity stuff you do. And I'd like to do something similar as well. I think, I don't know, maybe a Snowdon after a year or something. Just something.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Anything that you want to do as well, like, give me a shout, because I'll always jump in with anything. Probably not strong. I won't be able to lift anything like that. But
I'll lift you instead.
Yeah. Carry me up Snowdon. We'll do that.
But something like Snowdon, something like Bend, just something that. It's bad on the knees in general.
Yeah.
But if you can get through it, and then so I think maybe on like the 12-month anniversary, knowing where I'm at after that,
100%.
Look at potentially doing something next year.
Yeah.
That my plan is to try and. I post my TikToks, I post my videos, and the videos eventually I know they're going to do well. That first competition back's going to do well because people are like, I remember when he did that back here.
Yeah, definitely.
But for me, that helping has really become something that I didn't realise I could do or be good at. And I've become this knee specialist in the last 6 months because my knee, I've folded in half. So being able to keep sharing my journey for me and being there for other people to kind of look on and go, I've done one, in 6 months I can do that, in 9 months I can do that, in 10 months I can do that. I just want to prove that the body can do it.
Can actually do it. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate your time. Appreciate you going through the story and giving an insight into everything and kind of how you felt at the time and stuff. It's been good to listen to. So thank you. Thanks very much. I appreciate it.
Cheers.
Cheers.